but college esports is definitely a place for people who who at least don't feel like they fit in anywhere else. I remember one specific event where I was giving tours of the new arena to some people who just walked in. I'm like, hey, look, can we come play here? I was like, absolutely. And gave them a tour. And he's like, hey, look, thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm kind of socially awkward and I don't really get talk too much to other people. And I looked around and the arena was full, like all 30 PCs were being used. And I was like, hey, who else here is socially awkward? And like the entire arena laughed. So it's like the moments like that where you're just like, hey, look, you're among people who are like you, whether you don't know who you are or not. um, and we're here to support you. We're all just like you. We like video games. You'll sit down literally next to anybody in that arena and go, hey, look, do you play this? And they'll play a game with you. And so that's what college esports is definitely like a place for everyone to belong. Hello, so my name is Kyle Wilkowski, and I am the assistant to the director. And just like in the office, that title doesn't mean anything. And I just work a lot and do everything needed at Ferris State. Yeah, I actually wrote down everything I do in a list really fast, just because I haven't actually like written all this all down. So essentially, I'm like a step down from our director John O'Eaton, and basically everything gets filtered through me before it goes to the director because our club is 600 kids and we've got 154 kids on rosters. So there's a lot of kids that have a lot of college problems that they can just come to me first. And, it goes to me before it goes to Jono. I'm also a graduate student here. I played on the League of Legends team. I'm the coach of the League of Legends team. I'm a part-time caster. I fill all the gaps in production. Essentially, whenever we're short a person, I just go and do it. So that is essentially my job title is Hey Coach Mance, which is them just calling me to go do something. So. Oh, how do I balance all of that? I sleep about 3 hours a night, and I'm always at the arena. So one of the things that I try to do is I try to make my players see me doing homework in my grad school program, just because I need them to see that while I'm always there, I'm also still doing homework, and that grades are important. Because that's the one thing we push in our program is that, like, hey, look, none of you are going pro. You're going pro in life. Like, figure out your grades, get good grades. And so them seeing me do homework is something that's important to me, so that they can see that, like, hey, look, I can do homework, I can have straight A's, and also be a part of the esports program and do all these things. Yeah, so my esports journey, so it started like when I was 21. My parents got divorced when I was 21, which is a super normal thing, but neither one of my parents could afford having me and my twin brother live with them anymore. So we moved out. We were essentially homeless. I was going to Oakland University at the time, and I will remember this day, the day I died. But I had to go to one of my professors and be like, "Hey, look, I can't afford books right now. I don't even have a place to stay. I'm like sleeping like my grandparents' basement every couple of days, and I was crashing on friends' couches in my brother's car and stuff like that." And he's like, "Okay, I'm glad you told me because now we're gonna take steps to fix this." And we got an apartment on campus. My brother slept on the floor, and so that's when I started getting into esports, hilariously, because I didn't have any money. So I had a computer. I liked playing games. So that's when I first started playing League, and my life kind of like dramatically changed after that because I dropped out of college at 21 after all of this because your financial aid is based on your parents' income, and my parents weren't willing to provide their income because they're going through the middle of a divorce. So me and my brother couldn't afford to go to school anymore. So we got like a really crappy apartment in a really bad neighborhood, and I was just looking for extra money. So I started casting and coaching League of Legends games 'cause it's something that I liked doing, and I was getting paid a little bit of money here and there, nothing crazy. And eventually someone reached out, was like, hey, look, like, I like your coaching. I'm looking to put together a team in the UK league. Do you want to help? And I was like, sure. I know absolutely no players. I know nothing about the UK league. I was like, absolutely. And I said yes to a bunch of different opportunities until I just got on the client of League like 4 years later, when I was living in London. And so that was all a great experience. And then I went back for the off season, and was planning on going back to the UK to coach again. And this was like a week before my flight, and I found out on Twitter that I'd been fired. So that was not a great experience. And this happened to be in 2019, like the end of 2019. So then COVID hit, and I just couldn't go back to coach in Europe anymore. So I was actually looking for other places to coach. And during this time was when like college esports was on the rise, and a bunch of people had teams. And I was actually playing games online with the club president here at Ferris, which was like a really weird, like just randomly met him one day, and he was talking to me. He was like, "Hey, look, we need a league coach. Like, we can't pay you, but like, will you do it for free?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm going back to Europe after this, anyways. Like, no big deal." And then COVID lasted longer than we thought, and John Wheat, my boss, was like, "Hey, look, we can pay you if you're a student." And I was like, "Okay, well, I dropped out when I was 21 anyways. I might as well just go back to school." Meanwhile, I'm like 28 years old at that point, and it's like, sure. So I did full online esports club stuff until last year. It was my first year on campus in October, and ever since then, I've literally just done collegiate esports stuff every day, and loved it. Yeah, so the esports program here has roughly 600 students that just come in, play game casually. We have 30 PCs, so obviously that we have to schedule sometimes for people. Um, but we have about 154 players on rosters, and we've never turned a player away. And that's one thing that me and my boss like really pride ourselves on, is that if you want to play on a team, we'll find you a spot somewhere in the game that you want to play. So we're super inclusive. Our tryouts involve us finding who wants to play and then just figuring out which teams they essentially belong on based on the skill level. So it makes for really crazy game days when we have 6 Overwatch teams playing and 30 PCs, and then one league team and a couple other stuff. So we have to like balance scheduling and stuff just to be able to play on campus. But I love it. It's one big family. So I know all the kids' gamer tags. I know none of their first names. So, my boss told me that he was gonna nominate me, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, we're not a small school in Michigan, but we're like no one knows what a Ferris State is. Like, we're like West Michigan. We're between like Grand Valley and like MTU, which are both like bigger schools. And so I was like, okay, whatever. Like, we've never been nominated for any of these awards before. Like, we keep to ourselves usually. We go to like NACAD and other events and stuff, but we're not out there for the clout. We're just here for our students. And he's like, "I'm gonna nominate you." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Like, uh, I'm not gonna win. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. And then we were giving an interview for the new building. So I was with my boss and a bunch of the Ferris marketing people. And Adam Antor walks in. He's like, "Oh, Kyle, congrats on nomination." And everyone looked around because they didn't know who Kyle was. Because I'm always just Coach Mans, right? So, and that's what happened when like the nominations got posted, and like a bunch of people were like saying congratulations to me, and all of the kids were like, "For what?" And I was like, "I'm nominated for an award." And they're like, "I don't see Kyle Mans up there," and I'm like, "My last name isn't Mans, guys. Like that's just the gamer tag. That's like Mans is not my name at all." And so like most of the kids didn't even know that I was nominated for anything until we started like posting about it and stuff. So it was definitely a surprise, and I think what I said was okay, thanks, and then went back to the interview because like I was focusing on one thing at a time. So yeah, I mean it's awesome now that I've had time to kind of like just think about it, and to see all the other people that were nominated. The list is a lot of people that I know already, which is says something that they're much better at marketing themselves than I am, obviously. But Jorge's a great student leader. I literally just saw something in the news about him earlier about getting that huge funding for the esports arena for the university. And Cody is someone that I've met. I know she shouted me out as well, so I thought I'd give one back. But I went to a bunch of events at LTU and helped cast one of their events, and she is fantastic, super knowledgeable about esports, and a great person to have around. And it's great that we see a lot more female empowerment in esports, because that's one demographic that we definitely struggle with as an industry as a whole. So it's good to see female student leaders being elevated as well. Yeah, I mean, so we joke that it's the Adam Antor effect, because Adam Antor is also nominated for an award as well, but he's a professor here now at Ferris State. So like no one was really paying attention to us that much, and then second like and Adam got this job, we're nominated for 4 awards. So we're just like, guys, we've been doing the same thing for years. Like this is not a new thing. We just have Adam now. But it means a lot that the program's finally being recognized. I know my boss. John Wheaton is super proud because he's the only non-full-time esports person nominated for the Director of the Year. His job is halftime esports and halftime canvas and Zoom admin. So he does like all of the campus support stuff, and then from like 2 to 5 he does esports stuff, and then he goes home, and then I take over and do from like 5 to midnight. So it's really crazy that we've been able to put together the program that we have with no full-time staff, literally all part-time people and student workers, and um, not even having like a huge um, student leader structure. It's me, Casey from MTU, who's fantastic, myself, and John O'Eaton, and it's like a 3-person like part-time while in grad school and working other jobs program. And it's insane that we've been nominated for 4 different awards, and we're super happy, and we're looking to going to Vegas and celebrating with all the other esports professionals there. So I was struggling with this as well, because I'm not like I deserve to win this kind of person. Like everyone on this list deserves to win this, and I don't think that there's a bad candidate on this at all. And I don't know. Like I've always been like student focused, and I care. I'm sure that when I get back from Vegas, whether I win or not, the students will make an award for me that says Student Leader of the Year to us or something like that. Because for the banquet, my players were like really sad thinking I wasn't gonna win an award, so they made an award for me, and it's just really like on a poster board, like hand drawing and like whiteout marker and stuff. It was like, it was really awesome, because like that's the reason I do it, right? I don't do this for like the national or international recognition. I do this because I love doing this, and I love seeing the reaction of the kids when we do stuff like this. So this is an award for the kids as well, because I wouldn't be so adamant working so much if I didn't have such a great group of kids here. Definitely be nice to everyone, because college esports and esports as a whole is a very small group of select people that don't like letting other people in. So be nice to everyone, because that you'll probably end up needing them. Like I told that story about me being fired on Twitter. That the team leader currently works for I don't know exactly, some sort of management company in Canada, but he goes to GDC, which is the game design convention in San Francisco every year. And one of our big demographics for our esports program is the game design program. So I send like 60 to 70 kids to him every year. And I was like, hey, look, I know you fired me on Twitter, but my kids need an opportunity. Like, just go talk to him. And so you never know when those paths will cross again. And it's always best to be nice to everyone, even when they're maybe not being so nice to you. So if you're looking for me, at League of Mans on Twitter. I have not posted very much because I am currently working constantly. I get into the office at noon, and I don't leave until midnight, so the rest of the time is sleeping or doing homework or trying to have some sort of a social life. So I'm not super active on social media. I'll actually go tweet out today that I did this interview, and we'll call that my tweet for the week. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, Ferris Esports on Twitter. I have access to that account as well, and Twitch, Ferris Esports on Twitch, and you'll probably see me around on that too.